I'd like to answer the second part of your question first. I'm not disposed to air any views at all about the Oscars. I wouldn't want to waste time at this very important press conference discussing the Oscars, so I won't answer that. But your question is, why have I changed to doing something different? And I suppose by that you mean, I think you said a comedy, a light comedy or something of that sort. I haven't changed at all. I've never made a film that didn't contain comic elements. And this film, though it is absolutely a comedy, it has absolutely serious intent, and it has its dark side as well. However, having said that, I do try, every time I make a film, to do something different, and I try not to repeat what I've done before. And this film certainly is different in the sense that it, it expresses a feeling which I think is very important to express, and that is that since it is understandable that at the beginning of the 21st century, when we're in a world that's heading towards disaster, it's important that I just feel it necessary to reject the kind of growing fashion to be miserabilist, the fashion to be pessimistic and gloomy. Because whilst the world is in a bad way, everywhere people on the ground are getting on with it, to being positive. And that's what this film is about. One of the films is about. Poppy is a positive person who confronts things and deals with them and is not prepared to be negative. It's also a film about love, and love is something that motivates us all. But there's nothing new about it except perhaps the way that the story works, the way that it works on you. My experiment was to make something happen that would creep up on you so that you weren't quite sure why it's happening or how it's happening, but somehow, gradually, as you get into the film and you get into Poppy, into this very positive woman, you start to feel something without knowing why you're feeling it, and you start to be enriched by it in some way. Well, these characters, and you could both say something, I don't know, these characters, of course, in immediate terms, they are our creation. We are in the business of making fiction. But we can only do what we do because we draw from life as we know it and understand it. If there's something in your question, and I think there probably is, but you didn't quite say it, about the Englishness or the English aspect of Happy-Go-Lucky, I mean, I have to say, as I always say about my films, that although the milieu is quite specific, because England, London is where we know and grow roots and make our set our films. The film is not about England. It's not about Englishness or about. There's no agenda in the film that's to do with things English as such. But it comes from life, and we don't make these characters up. We don't invent them in a kind of vacuum. It's because we're plugged into the world.
Yes, I mean when you started the project, there was nothing, and you don't know where you're going to end up or what the character is going to be, and that's the beauty of working on a Mike Leigh film. It's both scary, but also very exciting at the same time. But Poppy is a Londoner. I mean, she was brought up in North London, and just the fact that she is living and working in London and has lived in London all her life, and loves London. She is I suppose, a London girl, but I think I don't think she's necessarily. I mean, we didn't set out to make a British film as such. she's engaged and excited by London.
But she's excited by life.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It wouldn't matter where she is. She's and in what city she is. I think she loves. She'd make the best of wherever she was.
Well, that's a very easy question to answer. I don't know the answer to. Well, I suppose on one level, what attracts me to flamenco is indeed the fact that it is a succulent, sexy, joyous kind of dance, which is in fact full of pain, and that the tension between those things is what's attractive about flamenco. The far more mundane answer to the question is, which you may be asking me, which is why the flamenco is there at all. It's because in our journey, Sally's and mine, we were discussing at one point in the development of the whole story what else Poppy might do. We've got her learning to drive, we've got her going to trampoline, and Sally said, well, I think she would go to flamenco. So that's a very good illustration of how it works. I thought, that's a good idea. And it so happened that one of the actors in the film, who I was just starting to sort out what she was going to be and do, is a very talented English actress called Karina Fernandez. Her father is Spanish. And so she and I, unbeknownst to Sally, we started to develop this character who was a flamenco dancer, and she went and explored flamenco and learned how to do it and learned how to teach it and did all those things, and we created this character from Seville. And I just thought it would be wonderful fun to take Poppy and drop her into this world with its extra complication of the teacher's own private suffering, which is both tragic and hilarious, I think. And somehow when the teacher lets out her passion the way she does and shares her pain and her love and her, what's happened to her, that seems to me to relate to the sensuality of flamenco itself. Do you want to say something about flamenco? I repeat that I don't want to say anything about the Oscars, not even to you. And my second answer to you is yes. Next question. I think the questions I've asked you while you were constructing the question are my comments on your question.
Okay, thank you very much.
At the end of the day, each film exists on its own merits and has its own agenda. And, it seems to be logical when you do something, to simply move to tap into a different side of the whole ongoing investigation that is one's work. And that's what I do. What was the other part of your question? I forgot. About the script. Well, this film is the same as all my films. It evolves out of a whole lot of work that went on for months before we shot.